What happens when the world's largest smartphone makers decide they're not just building phones anymore, but people? We just saw another huge smartphone company unveil their first humanoid robot at the 2026 Mobile World Congress. And the moment I'm sure you've all been waiting for finally happened. Yep, a robot did the moonwalk. But it's not just a gimmick. While Honor is pivoting its $10 billion alpha plan towards bipedal bots, BMW just showed their plans in Germany, deploying the AEON humanoid, a humanoid robot with a self-service battery hot swapping that means it never needs to stop working. And the global race is heating up, from an Indian billionaire launching a domestic rival to Tesla's Optimus bot, to the first ever 110,000 square metre robot Giga-factory breaking ground. Today we're covering all this and more, so if you want to know how this industry is accelerating at warp speed, you come to the right place. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Humanoid Report, where we keep you updated with the humanoid industry and its journey to us all having a humanoid within our homes. We're starting with a massive power move in Europe. We showed a clip of him in our last video. The German Chancellor Merz just visited Unitree Robotics in Hangzhou. Seeing a world leader at a robotics HQ isn't just a photo op, it's a signal that Europe sees how fast this tech is evolving and is ready to integrate Chinese hardware into the heart of its industry. But the real action is happening on the ground in Leipzig. BMW has shown once again that they're following along with the humanoid developments. They previously had Figure 2 humanoids working in their Spartanburg plant for 11 months. They ran 10-hour shifts from Monday to Friday just like a human, with over 1,000 hours of runtime, loaded over 90,000 parts and contributed to the production of 30,000 X3 cars. This gave a huge opportunity for real-life research and testing for Figure. While BMW are now trialling the AEON robot from Hexagon. AEON's humanoid has a wheeled base compared to Figure's legs, which, let's face it, is probably more suitable for a factory and would allow for quicker and smoother locomotion. AEON is roughly 165 centimeters tall. He weighs roughly 60 kilograms and has 34 actuated joints. It has a top speed of about 5.4 miles per hour and interestingly can have a continuous carry load of 8 kilo but a short-term burst of 15 kilo. Which doesn't actually sound like that much weight to carry, to be honest. What makes AEON a game changer for BMW is the physical AI ecosystem. It's packed with 12 onboard cameras and 22 specialised sensors, including LiDAR and force feedback. All of this is processed by an Nvidia Jetson Orin board for real-time spatial reasoning. They're even planning to upgrade to the Nvidia IGX Thor to give it certified functional safety so it can work right next to humans without a cage. But here is the killer feature, the slide-out battery swap. Most humans are useless for 4 hours while they charge. AEON uses hot-swappable lithium packs. When it hits low power, it rolls to a station, slides out its own battery and pops in a fresh one in seconds. This gives BMW a 24/7 autonomous workout for higher voltage battery assembly. It's not just a robot, it's a non-stop production asset. However, just as a side note to this, Figure's latest humanoids charge via induction through their feet. So if they're doing some pick and place standing work, they can essentially charge whilst working and labouring away without even needing to swap out battery packs. I do worry for when robots want human rights, or robot rights should I say, but overall it'll be an interesting experiment with BMW. Although looking at the footage, I do think AEON's got a little bit of improvement to be made. Okay, next up. While BMW is testing AEON, Agibot is officially invading the European market. They've signed a massive deal with Mint Group to deploy the Yuanzheng A2 and the Lingzi X2 into automotive lines. The Agibot 2026 Gala was a statement of intent. We saw the Agibot A3 and it looks incredible, sleek, fast and capable of the usual crazy kung fu flying kicks we're all kind of used to seeing at this stage. Not to say they're any less impressive though, but the real brain move here is their RAS platform. Robot as a service. Agibot is now letting companies rent these humanoids. We've spoken about this before, renting robot workers. Instead of a massive $150,000 capital expense, you just pay a monthly or daily subscription. We've moved to a subscription model for everything else, so why not labour? This solves the obsolescence problem. You don't buy a robot that's old in 2 years, you just upgrade your subscription to the latest model. This is how humanoids go from luxury to utility overnight. And to be honest, this is essentially what us human workers do. We rent out our time and are rewarded with money. So it's not actually too different. It just depends how cheap the subscription is and how efficient the robot is. Okay, now a quick jump back here to the UK. If you caught This Morning on British TV recently, you saw a little robot named Harold doing a dance routine. That's actually the Unitree G1. The reason this matters, price and accessibility. Like we spoke about in the last video, the G1 is becoming the Raspberry Pi of bipedal robots. Because it's relatively affordable, it's showing up all around the world in educational settings and even in TV studios. This is massive for R&D. When thousands of students can tinker with the G1, we get better walking algorithms, better balance, and better interaction faster than any one company could do alone. It also helps to give that extra bit of exposure to people that generally don't follow tech news, especially the humanoid robot industry. So if your nan starts asking for a little robot helper for her next Christmas present, you know why. Okay, back to some bigger stories. If you want to know who's going in big on this, just look at Xpeng. They just announced a 110,000 square meter factory in Guangzhou. This isn't a lab, it's a full chain facility built to move their robot, AEON, into mass production. AEON hit the news big time recently for their amazing natural looking walking style that led to them having to prove it wasn't a human dressed up. You know you're doing something right when that happens, and they were clearly ecstatic about that rumour. AEON is a 178cm beast using solid state batteries and Xpeng's own Turing AI chips. They're the first to build a dedicated gigafactory for humanoids, aiming to use their expertise in EV mass production to scale robots to a level we haven't seen before. They're moving from validation to large scale manufacturing right now. And if their robots were as nice as their cars, then this is looking promising. Now, whilst we're talking about big players, the battle for the $20,000 price point just got a new contender. Indian billionaire Mukesh Ambani's Jio just showcased Jio robots at the Indian AI Impact Summit. At the summit, Jio didn't just show a prototype, they showed a path to production. The star of the show was J-Panda, a humanoid developed in conjunction with Adverb Technologies, which is 54% owned by Reliance. Ambani announced Reliance Intelligence, a new subsidiary backed by a $120 billion equivalent investment over 7 years. This isn't just about the robot, it's about the Jamnagar gigawatt scale data centers that will act as the sovereign compute for these bots, ensuring they don't rely on the Western cloud latency. They're positioning these as domestic rivals to Tesla's Optimus. While Tesla has spent an estimated $2 billion on R&D alone just recently, targeting a 2030 launch at a $20,000 price point, Ambani is looking to dominate the Indian labour market. It's a classic tech showdown. Musk's Western data versus Ambani's massive Indian ecosystem. Either way, the winner is the consumer who gets a cheaper, more capable robot. Whilst we're touching on data centers and ecosystems, it's worth mentioning that during Nvidia's Q4 earnings report, they showed that their Isaac platform is now the operating system for over 140 humanoid manufacturers. Whether it's Honor, Agibot or Xpeng, most of these bots are thinking through Nvidia chips and training in Nvidia simulations. Jensen Huang has essentially built the Windows or Android of the robot world, and this software moat is why the industry is accelerating so fast. Everyone is built on the same high-speed foundation. Now, let's talk about the absolute show stealer from the Mobile World Conference. Not only did they show a crazy new phone with a little robot companion camera, but Honor unveiled their new humanoid. As part of their alpha plan, a $10 billion pivot to becoming an AI terminal company, Honor didn't just show a video, they put a sleek humanoid on stage that performed a perfect moonwalk. Now, I'm not too sure about all the dance moves, and it does look suspiciously similar to a Unitree G1, but it's another big player to shift this industry forward. So why is this a big deal, you might ask? Because smartphone giants are the masters of mass production. Think about it. Companies like Honor and Xiaomi know how to make millions of complex devices with high density batteries, precision motors, and advanced sensors every single year. When they get into the humanoid game, the learning curve for manufacturing disappears. Honor is treating the robot as a companion device that syncs with your entire AI ecosystem. By bringing the speed and scale of the mobile industry to bipedal robots, Honor is effectively pouring rocket fuel on the market. If they can make a robot as ubiquitous as a phone, then we've officially made it. And to finish off, the most spiritual story of the week. Kyoto University has debuted Buddharoid. It's a Unitree G1 robot body running on OpenAI models designed specifically to perform religious rituals and give spiritual advice. It can perform 3D mapped bowing gestures, lead chants, and even uses AI brain to answer philosophical questions from the sutras. It sounds wild, but in a world where religious practitioners are aging, Japan is using robots to preserve their culture. It's a reminder that humanoids won't just be in factories or homes, they'll be in sacred spaces too. So from BMW's non-stop AEON workers to Honor's moonwalking humanoids, the speed of this industry is accelerating like mad. We're moving from concept to production in record time. So a question for you. With companies like Honor and Xpeng planning to mass produce these in the next 24 months, would you trust a smartphone brand to build the robot that lives in your house? Let me know in the comments. And let me hear your thoughts on the AEON battery swapping system. Do you think that's the secret to actually make these robots useful 24/7? Anyway, I hope you found this video informative. If you did, please drop a like and hit that subscribe button because it really helps the channel grow. And for staying till the end, I'll leave you with this. See you in the next one.
那个这段是5说。
可以啊。